Hello there guys, my name is Gimpy Dwarf and welcome back to another episode of Space Engineers. So today I am showing off the almost complete Radon EV ship, which is an exploration vessel for any of you that don't know. I released a video the other week showing off what I'd done in a weekend, and ever since then I've been doing little bits and bobs sporadically on this build and getting more and more done. This is what I've ended up with, and may I say it may not be complete just yet, but I am going to release it to the workshop just to let you guys play around with it and maybe customize it yourself. Just to let you know, the world is very highly mod intensified, so please be aware of that. If you have quite low end computers that cannot run a lot of mods, just be careful. We're in the interior. This is the cockpit. This is like what I've managed to get done with the cockpit. Now this is like sort of finished, I guess. I've got 5 seats in here, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. All of them have different roles. Now somebody mentioned the whole alien thing where they have like raised and lowered seats like in an Apache or something like that. So what I went with was 4 seats, 2 on either side to sort of control different operations of the craft, and then 1 for the main pilot. So with this seat at the front, if you were to jump into it and we hit V, we have all these different controls. Now we have the speed of the ship, which is controlled by M-Master's coding, as well as the date and time. We then have the grid position, a little screen that shows like it's meant to be like an aiming reticule sort of thing, so you can aim the ship a bit better. It doesn't work all that well. It's purely for visual purposes. I couldn't think of another way to do it besides using projectors, but I don't have the space. And I've also got 2 other screens here, one stating the power status of the reactor, see if they're turned on or off, because this will turn on and off. And then we also have the power usage. Please note that with this seat you actually have some space to look down as well. I found that with landing large crafts of this type, you need to see, or at least have reference to where the floor is. Now you can do this in 2 ways. You can have it so it's a visual thing, so you can see what is going on below using windows, which I've done here. Or you can use the method of having a camera. Actually, there's a third option as well. Or you can use sensors that turn on a screen and basically indicate you are a meter away. So I kind of went with just the visual, and it's quite nice actually, being like floating over space. It's quite an interesting thing, I think, and I like the way I've done it. I was quite impressed with the way I did it, and it looks pretty cool. So we've got these other 2 seats on the side. We've got this one which doesn't have a screen yet. This is the one thing I've got to go through and do. It's all the screens in here. They work off M-Masters. Some of them don't, but I'm trying to make them all work with it. But if I go K on this is the vessel systems. So this will be like if with cargo and things. And then we've got the navigation seat, which of course is purely just telling them go left or right and things like that, and grid position. So I'll probably try and figure out some more stuff with M-Masters for locations and things like that of the ship, because of course it's already displayed up here and whatever. So we've also got this up here, which is the life support, I believe. Yep, life support seat. So that just displays the oxygen status in the tanks and the oxygen generators. I could show the vents as well, but it would just get too crowded on the screen. And then we also have the comm status. So it's stating here that the long range and the short range antennas are off, as well as the short range antennas for the working Joes. So this is like the cockpit area. I really like this because it's quite airy. You've got some screens above you as well that you can see, and it's very open, and you can see what the hell is going on. It's not really built for being shot at, as I've already stated. These ships aren't really built for being shot at. But yeah, we've got some storage as well, which is hooked up to the system, so you can put stuff in there, pull it out in the air vents and stuff like that. Now, the one thing I have found with the screens is when you look away from them and look back at them, sometimes they flicker, and I've been trying to deal with that by adding more program, the programmable blocks. I've been trying to add a few more of them in with a few more timers, just to make the process of the updates on the screen a bit quicker. But it's working okay at the moment, but it's not as responsive as I want it to be because of the use of all the screens. So fully oxygenated in here, and then we walk into the view room. So this is like the viewing deck. Now this is something a few of you guys posted about. You wanted to see something like this. Now also to note, just before we do carry on and talk about this, In the cockpit, all of the seats are oxygenated just for life support purposes, and for anyone else who needs to really be sat down with a full oxygen supply, they can sit in these seats in here in the view room. There's 4 seats in here and there are 5 seats in there, so there's 9 seats. So this is only meant to hold 8, but if you do say have an extra person, you've got space. So we've got some more cargo down here which are separate and they're not hooked up to the system, so those are like private crates, and we have some being built rocket pods and Gatling gun over here, because this ship does have some weapons on it, but their uses are more for, again, blowing rocks out of the way and for general defense of alien things flying at the craft. So there's not, you know, not too much usage in terms of battle, but they can be used for that if need be. We've also got some nice piping as well. I found a nice mod for piping. I'm unsure of the name of it, but again, it will be in this world, so you'll be able to download it and check it out for yourself. It adds like 4 different types of tubing in, and they're really quite nice and detailed, and they've used on GEC's builds as well, which are really nice. Now, I call this a view deck because you've got view to the skies up there, then you've also got views to the front, and a little viewport there, as well as the floor, so you can see what the hell is going on below you if you need to, and hopefully communicate with people on the ground if need to as well. We do have light switches in here. They're the orange buttons, so there's a difference between the orange and the white, and the orange are the buttons that don't really do a lot besides, you know, turn light switches on and off, and then we've got the white buttons which do like the airlock doors and things like that. So as we come through, we've got a comm room which again isn't finished. I do need to add some more decorative stuff in here like piping and things, but I managed to figure out the one screen. Now I have called this the comms room, but it's more like a general vessel, it's like check-up room sort of thing, where you'd have people monitoring the ship systems. So you've got the bedroom pressure, the living zone pressure, the view room pressure, and the cockpit pressure. The airlock pressure's on its own one, so you don't need to really view that. We've also got the power usage, power status, the grid position, and the basic info. I try to include the basic info and the grid position in most rooms, just so you don't have to go to these rooms to have a look. We've got those screens set up there, and then on this screen over here we have the air vent systems and the status of them on their pressure. So I've like programmed all the pressures in and stuff, and it comes up with like 100%, and then of course when you use the oxygen it dips and then goes back up when more oxygen's produced. We've got the oxygen status again, so you've got the tanks and the generators. This is purely relaying some of the information from the cockpit, but again, to save you going to the cockpit, you can just come in here and look in this room. We have a broken screen as well, because I've tried to make it look like it's a bit lived in, so some of these screens are broken, just to make it seem like it needs some repair. And then coming through here, oh actually, one more thing I forgot to show you is I do have some doors up here. They don't have a button on them yet, but they're called the comm access doors. So if I go open, these will slowly open up, and what these actually allow you to do is there is some storage that is private storage for whatever you need in terms of repairing blocks and things, and then we have a beacon and the antennas up here as well, and an ore detector. So there is a few things in here, and the reason why I've got them in here is because on the Xenon I've put them in a on the external of the ship, which is quite dangerous because if you lose communications you have to go outside the vessel to fix it, whereas with this you don't need to. You can just, you know, float up or use a ladder or something to get up there and of course, you know, play around, fix them. So as we head through here, we've got some more personal storage, which I said I was going to add, and we've got this like nice shelving area, and then we've got a seating area as well with a nice little planet projected up there as well. I'm going to have a button that turns that on and off, so you can turn it off while in flight, and we do have some nice chairs that we can just have a bit of a meeting on and see out the window as well, which is quite quaint. So that's that, and then of course we've got the toilet as usual. And then we got the bed area. So the bed area hasn't really changed much. There's a lot of screens I need to do. These are going to be personalised screens, so I will play around with them rather than have M Masters update them. I'll just put some information in like I did with the Xenon, and maybe have some character descriptions or some of the same character descriptions from the last ship, because this could be their new or old craft. And then again we got the kitchen and everything, all that's perfect. I didn't move the first aid forward, I kind of left it as is, and I figured it looked nice enough like that. Let's turn these lights on and then we can just head outside and I can show you outside. So if we hit this button, as you notice, the buttons are white, which are for doing this whole thing. If you notice again, the screen flickers before it comes on. It's a bit strange, but yeah, the buttons are white just to state that these are just purely for the airlock doors. So we'll open this one. That does depressurize and repressurize. It's just currently oxygen is obviously turned off, so we can't do a lot about that. Now, the general craft. Outside got tweaked and changed so much that I'm not even sure what it is anymore. The front section needs a lot of detail adding to it in terms of making it look a bit more random, and it looks too symmetrical to me at the moment, but I think I'm getting there with it, in all fairness, with the shape. And again, hopefully you guys can play around with it, maybe send me some pictures via, I don't know, like on the forums on the Steam workshop page, and we can have a look. We've got some lights that are glitching through the ceiling here as well, which actually kind of add to the detail, in all fairness. And I might add some piping as well. We got some weird pod sections because I was unsure how to add thrusters in and make them look cool, so this was kind of the way to make it look a bit more odd and a bit more random. And it does look nice from the front actually. It kind of reminds me of a bug with like the big bug eyes and stuff. So yeah, I really do like this craft. I've added some supports as well to this just because it didn't look like it could support itself very well, so I kind of added these in like I've done on the back section to match. And that's pretty much it really. I've not done a lot more. It's just, you know, it's yeah, it's pretty much there. I just need to again do some general tweaks, make it a bit nicer to look at. Again, the front isn't the best at the moment, but I think it's going pretty well. So if you guys have enjoyed this little walkthrough of the Radon, then go and check it out on the Steam Workshop. It is up, the link is in the description below. And yeah, if you guys have enjoyed, please like, favourite, and of course subscribe for more. If you have any other ship ideas, I'm taking requests, so you know, if you guys have any cool ideas for stuff to build. Once this has been built, of course, I don't really have anything else planned after this besides maybe another one of these kind of crafts. But if you have any ideas, scream at me in the comment section and I'll have a look. So, thank you guys for watching. Peace!